What is up everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Andrea and in this channel I talk about everything related to interior design. So if that's something that you like, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my content. First of all guys, I want to thank you because I have reached the mark of 100 subscribers. Although it might not seem like a big number, it really means the world to me and I appreciate each one of you that has subscribed to my channel. So thank you so much and let's get into the video. Okay guys, so on today's video I'm going to be talking about a topic that I think is very important, and that is what really is the difference between commercial and residential interior design. If you pursue a career in interior design, you will have to decide whether you want to specialize in commercial or in residential, and the programs that you take in order to get there can be a little bit different. Typically, if you're going to study a bachelor's degree, you will be taught about both. However, if you decide to go for a shorter program such as a certificate or a diploma, you will have the option of only taking the residential path. So it is very important that you know what exactly is commercial, what exactly is residential. So what I'm going to be talking about in this video, first I'm going to be talking about the design skills that you need for both. Then I'm going to be jumping into residential design, and last I'm going to be talking about commercial design. At the very end of this video, I'm going to be pointing out the main difference. So let's just get right into it. Regardless which type of interior design you decide to specialize in, you will have to apply the following skills as an interior designer. Concept creation, which involves having a design concept, creating mood boards, creating material boards, creating furniture boards, coming up with a concept for your design. You will also need to be able to create a complete set of technical documentation. So that will include construction plans, elevations, sections, floor plans, demolition plans, so on and so forth. You will also need to be able to create perspective drawings and renderings with the use of 2D and 3D modeling software. You have to apply for building permits whenever you are ready to start construction. Okay, so let's talk about residential design first. The first thing that they will teach you in school is going to be residence designs, and that is because it's a little bit less complex. Residential design focuses on private spaces. In other words, living spaces. That could be a detached residence, that could be a townhome, an apartment, a condo, basically spaces where people live. When you are designing a home for a client, that home should reflect the client's personality, lifestyle, needs, and preferences. So with this type of interior design, you have to be familiar with building codes and safety standards for residential occupancies. Another thing that you can do with residential interior design is that you can specialize in certain rooms of the home. Typically, those would be the kitchen and the bathroom. Those are the spaces that are the hardest to design. So there's actually designers that decide to only design kitchens and bathrooms, and they will become experts in this type of spaces. Now let's talk about commercial interior design. If you decide to become a commercial designer, you will be designing public spaces. That could be stores, restaurants, bars, hotels, banks, shopping malls, schools, universities, libraries. There are a million public spaces that you can design if you are a commercial designer. The reason commercial design is more complex than residential is because every type of building has its different regulations and functional requirements. When you are designing a commercial space, you will be designing a space for whatever company, so that company has a brand. So you have to become very familiar with the branding kit of that company. So that would be the colors that they use for the company, the theme that they use, if it's a luxury brand, what are the targeted clients and audience for that specific company, what's the mission of the company. So really you have to understand about the company very well to be able to develop a design for them. And another thing that's very important is you have to know the marketing needs of that company. If you go to a retail store, you will see that when you are in the cashier ready to pay, they put all these little things that you can buy for cheap To encourage people to buy more things with retail stores, you have to be very careful about the marketing needs, and your space planning has to be very intentional in order for the clients to be tempted to buy more products from that brand. So now let's talk about the main big huge difference, or maybe differences, that there are between commercial and residential interior design. First of all, when you are designing for a commercial space, you have to make sure that the space is ADA compliant. In other words, it has to be designed for accessibility. For example, if someone on a wheelchair enters the space, you gotta make sure that every hallway is the right width so that that person can circulate without any problem within the space. So you have to meet the accessible circulation and clearance requirements for someone in a wheelchair. Not only you have to design for accessibility, but you also have to design for universal design. Universal design is somewhat linked to accessibility, and it basically has to do with the actual dimensions of the space. An example of a universal design would be not having stairs right on the entry of a building, so that if someone comes in a wheelchair, they can easily access the building. The doorway has to be wide enough, the hallways have to be wide enough, you gotta have a ramp somewhere. So basically, accessibility and universal design are two concepts that merge together in order to create a space that is accessible for the public. Another thing that you need to watch out for commercial design that you don't have to worry about for residential design is the occupancy load. So basically, how many people can be in that space and how many exits you gotta have based on the number of people that can potentially be in that space at the same time. And the last thing that sets commercial design apart from residential design is the concept itself has to be very defined. All these restaurants, hotels, bars, shopping malls, whatever, all have this very defined concept, very defined style and theme. So your concept has to be very well defined so that your design gets to reflect what the company and what the brand is trying to tell. Overall, I would say that it requires more analytical thinking when you are designing the concept of this space. It can also be a little bit more fun to design. You will have a little more freedom in terms of color, of fabric, of wild designs, and it depends from project to project, but it can be a little more wild. So that is really the main difference that I want you guys to really understand, because whatever you choose to do, it will be a completely different path. Commercial and residential are both interior design, but it's just not gonna be the same. So it's very important that you know. Okay guys, so that wraps today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so that I know that you like this type of content and I can continue making more just like this. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.